Documentaries are about the people that you meet and the stories you can tell. Stories of tragedy, laughter, hope and desperation, across faraway lands or right here in your own backyard. This podcast brings these stories to you, the listener, so that you can experience the adventures of documentary filmmaking in audio form while embarking on daily adventures of your own. Welcome to Barefoot Media's Stories Within Stories podcast with your host, Simon Holland. Dr. Lou Fenny is a holistic vet whose unique approach combines conventional medicine with evidence-based natural therapies with a focus on improving well-being, vitality and quality of life by treating the whole pet, not just their symptoms. With over a decade's experience practicing traditional veterinary medicine and surgery, Dr. Lou has made the move to the holistic approach with stunning results and is featured on a number of television shows, working with a range of animals big and small. We welcome to the show, Dr. Lou.
Thanks for having me, Simon.
Tell us, holistic vet, what's the difference between a normal vet and a holistic vet?
Oh gosh, do I have to explain it again?
Yeah, just this one time and then you can send this to everybody that asks from here on.
Okay, how long do I have?
As long as you like.
All right. Well, in a nutshell, the realisation I came to after 10 years of being a regular vet is that in conventional medicine, essentially a dog or a cat comes into the clinic with a symptom or a problem, and conventional medicine uses a drug to band-aid it. And after 10 years, I just got bored of doing that. I realised that I'm not actually healing the animal. I want to be an animal healer. I want to make them better. And I realised that in the conventional system, I'm putting a drug on it and it didn't feel good to me. You know, when I gave the diagnosis and I told the pet parent that your dog or your cat needs this drug for the rest of their life, it never felt like a result to me. So it wasn't right for me. And then there was a particular allergy patient that came in and this cat needed steroids again and again. And I was just like, Christ, this is bullshit. I actually left the veterinary science for 5 years. I worked for a property investment company. I was sick of just being frustrated with vet, sick of making no money. Long story short, I came back to vet 5 years later and I realised if I'm going to do vet, I'm going to do it with integrity, with the way that I want to do it, which is to physically heal animals. And I realised that to do that, I have to do things very differently. I've got to be really true to my calling, my gut instinct, which is that fresh food comes first. As a vet, we're trained that we should give animals this shitty prescription diet, inverted commas, shitty processed food, and it's absolute rubbish. Like literally in vet school, in our final year of nutrition, the way nutrition works in vet school is that we get told how complicated it is and all these horrible medical conditions that come to animals if you don't have the nutrition right. And it's so complicated and so hard. And then Royal Canin comes in and Eukanuba comes in, these companies, and they're like, guess what? We've got the answer.
Yeah.
So a whole generation of vet students are born.
Initiated.
Yeah. Thinking that this is the only way to bring your pets nutrition. And I took the Kool-Aid, literally. Like I remember the moment in this lecture series being, I was so overwhelmed with how much I had to learn to get through my studies and graduate. And I remember being overwhelmed with how much I had to know. And I remember literally the Royal Canin rep coming in and saying, don't worry, Louisa, as long as your pets eat our food, nutritionally, they're balanced and they're fine. And I was like, what a relief. Great. I can focus my studies on something else. Yeah. And then I got a year or two into being a vet and I remember I was in London and I was on a whole health journey on my own and I was on a raw food diet. Like I was literally eating raw food in the middle of a London winter. My boyfriend at the time was like, why on earth are we eating this raw food?
What's raw food, like uncooked broccoli or sushi?
Yeah, exactly. All of the above, uncooked food. Because I'd read and learned all about the benefits of raw food. Like the less screwing with we do with our food, the better the antioxidants and the health benefits and all the rest. And then I was like, if I'm eating raw broccoli and my patient's eating this ultra-processed rubbish, that is bullshit. And so basically, long story short, early on in my vet career, I realised this is rubbish. And I started to, on the side, say to my patients, just feed them some fresh chicken. Literally in secret, because if the vet nurses and the vets heard, they'd be like, oh my God, Louisa is not employed here anymore. Like I had to do it literally on the sly. And so 10 years of that, and now I was like, this is rubbish. So that kind of led me to working for myself. And I remember the joy, and my very first, client on my own, I was like, feed it raw meat. And it was quite liberating that I could tell my own client, feed the animal raw meat, and it snowballed from there.
My dog must have felt like absolute shit because he grew up in the 90s and he ate nothing but chum and kibble and the odd bone. Like that blue chum, the chicken one, tastes like shit because I tried it because it looks good. It's not chicken. It's some bullshit.
My brother and I, we went to my dad's clinic after school a few days and we ate the dog biscuits because we were bored, and they taste pretty shit.
Yeah.
And they also eat that every day.
Well, you ever see when it rains in the dog bowl and there's biscuits in there and how big they swell?
Yeah.
You're like, dude,
it's all filler.
If my dog must eat this and then go drink water and it just goes in his stomach, like it must feel rubbish.
It's literally all filler. So when patients come to me and they've got any kind of chronic inflammatory condition, so skin disease, inflammatory gut, most chronic disease processes, which is a chronic disease is a disease that doesn't go away.
Yeah.
It's always inflammatory and it will always get better with a fresh food diet. So long story short, I started prescribing fresh whole food to my patients many years ago, and 9 times out of 10, all I have to do to heal my patient, get them off the long-term drugs, get them off their health problems, is literally just put them onto fresh food. Meat and veg.
How does that work? Evolutionary or common dogs in 2024 so removed from like their genetic basis that it doesn't matter? But like, how does that fit in with how they should be eating or how they ate classically?
Well, dogs ate classically as a scavenger. So for hundreds and hundreds of years, dogs have scavenged from humans. That's how we got their relationship.
They must be country specific then.
Yes, yeah.
So they eat sushi in Japan?
Yeah, absolutely. So dogs would scavenge around the human camps, and that's how dog became man's best friend, because I'm like, oh, you got some food over there, I'll come and have some of that. So dogs' guts have evolved with human guts, but they're still canines. Like you look at their teeth, they're designed to rip apart a whole animal. Like not every dog, like my little Cece, she's designed to pull apart a bird. A
duck.
A duck, yeah. She's classic duck hunting. She fucking loves ducks. Yeah, she's designed to kill a bird. A bulldog or a bigger dog is designed to pull apart a rabbit or whatever. Yeah. But dogs, their teeth is still a canine. They're designed to pull apart a whole bird, et cetera. So I encourage my clients absolutely for their dog to have a big, chunky, raw, meaty bone to pull apart. It's so good for their teeth.
They look so happy when they're doing that too.
Oh,
you just know it's meant to be.
It lights up their world. It's everything to them.
Yeah.
So the vets that say, oh, you're not allowed to give your dog a bone, I'm just like, fuck that.
Yeah. Is that because we saw the extinction of white dog shit in our lifetimes? Because there used to be tons of it. And that was apparently from chewing up bones, right? Yeah. The calcium.
Yeah.
So the diet's changed. And that probably is to do with the corporatization of that industry.
100%. So it was back in the 60s or 70s that a very clever industry realised how much money they could make from the pet food industry. So they realised that they could take all the shit food from production and put it into a pet food and say, this is the best thing to feed your pet. Marketing companies have excelled in convincing the population that this biscuit is the best thing to feed your pets. It's just marketing bullshit.
When you get to the heart of a biscuit, what's at it?
It's basically like if your doctor told you, hey, you should feed your children McDonald's every day. It's the best thing for them. Like it's the same shit. When your vet says you should feed your dog Royal Canin or Eukanuba every day, it's just like your doctor saying you should feed your kid McDonald's every day. It's absolute bullshit rubbish.
I feel like kind of we're going to send assassins your way.
Because the pet food industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So if I get assassined, it's your fault, Simon.
Well, I got told about pet insurance for the first time like a couple of years ago.
I'm okay about pet insurance.
Yeah, but I'm like, how's that an industry? I mean, I feel like if our dogs had anything wrong with them, they probably would have gone missing or something. Because I don't know, he just was like, I'm not paying. But like, I've got friends, his dog had an ACL reconstruction at the cost of $6,000.
Yeah, $6,000.
And then a bucket on the head.
Yeah.
They take it home. It jumps out of the back of the truck independently and does its ACL again, and it's back in for the next one.
Yeah.
And you're like, my dad would have gone, absolutely not.
100%.
Dog goes walkabout. But like, yeah, so there was an interesting concept that people do anything for their pets.
They do.
More so probably than for themselves.
I mean, animals have got to the point in so many of our relationships where the animal is the most important relationship in your entire life.
Yeah.
I mean, how often do you meet a friend and that person is there for you 24/7 no matter what? You know, it doesn't happen in the human world. Humans are wired to look after themselves, and we do. Our animal, they are wired to look after you. They're dedicated to you for fucking life.
Yeah.
You never, how many people do you know where they marry their husband or their wife and it lasts forever? Like, yes,
I think it's 50%.
Exactly, 50%. Exactly, there's a stats. 50% who say, I'm going to love you forever. I promise I'm going to love you forever. 50% make it through.
Yeah.
Whereas a dog or a cat.
Dog smiles at you when you walk through the door 100% of the time.
100%. And a cat.
30%.
Cats are so dedicated to you as well. They just don't show it the same way as a dog does.
Yeah.
But cats are.
Like an introvert.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cats are as dedicated to you as a dog is. So what I'm trying to say is that the animal is dedicated to you for life, full stop. How often do you get a friendship that's for life, no matter what? You can be an absolute asshole to the dog. You can be horrible. You can kick it. You can starve it. That dog or that cat is dedicated to you for life.
And it's probably when you see someone that's mistreated a dog or you've seen a dog that's mistreated, part of it is the look of confusion and betrayal on the dog's face. Like the way it acts, it feels like betrayal.
Yeah. But they don't have that. They don't even have betrayal. They're just like that confusion that you're talking about is just like, how do I do better?
Oh, really?
It really is. They don't think about betrayal. They just think, oh, bugger, I didn't do it right. How can I help? How can I serve him better? That is like, honestly, pet parents out there, I just want to let you know that all your dog or your cat or your rabbit or anything wants to do, they are on this planet to serve you. They do everything. It brings me to tears all the time because they just literally you're on this planet to look after you.
So when you see extreme pet behavior, extreme barking, extreme whatever, how does it get to that psychologically for a pet?
They're trying to help. So a dog that's going crazy barking, for example, it's just like, oh my God, I need to protect the home. Anytime a dog or a cat is behaviorally being crazy or weird, it's literally just freaking the fuck out that it needs to help the human. Animals, dogs and cats, our companion animals, they are wired literally to be of service to their humans. Full stop.
When you see that smiling face come through the door, what happens to a human psychologically and how do we form a bond with our pets?
Well, it's called oxytocin. It's a very important and very profound hormone. Oxytocin is our bonding hormone. So when you look at that beautiful animal and they look at you, oxytocin is a very important hormone that gets created and it's a bonding hormone.
Outside of diet, what's some common issues that you see with pets?
Outside of diet, oh gosh. To be honest, diet is the most important thing. People feeding kibble, shitty food is so inherent. Outside of that, I think diet is honestly the most important place that people go wrong when they think that they're doing the best for their pet. Okay, the next is people are conditioned to give a vaccination every year. That's very wrong. And I am very sure that we do more harm than good with giving a vaccination every year. So what I do with my patients is I give a vaccination with the puppies at 12 weeks of age. And then a year later, I do a titer test, and that shows us if the dog needs a vaccination booster or not. The studies show that 95% of dogs do not need a vaccination after 12-week vax. My experience in the last 5 years is that it's more like 99% of dogs do not ever need a vaccination after